Welcome back to Reveal Math Grade 2, Unit 6. Today we're talking about lessons 9 and 10 together. These are the last two lessons in this unit and wrap up all of the strategies students have learned so far about subtraction. My usual disclaimer, I don't work for Reveal Math or for the school district. I'm a math content coach and education consultant with a daughter in 2nd grade, and these videos are intended to help parents and caregivers help their students. Here's a problem from Unit 6, Lesson 9. How can you represent and solve the word problem? Fill in the equation and use any strategy to solve. Jamal has 48 crayons. He gives his brother 23 crayons. How many crayons does Jamal have left? This is a one-step word problem, meaning that we just have two numbers we have to subtract. We have the number we're starting with, and then we subtract something from it to figure out what we have left. So as usual, I made up a similar problem here. Let's imagine you have 72 cookies. I thought I wrote cookies there, but it disappeared for some reason. That's a lot of cookies, but let's say you made 72 cookies and you gave away 24 cookies. How many cookies are left? I always write about cookies, I think, because I want somebody to give me some, but also because I think they interest students a little bit, and they kind of have that real-life experience of thinking about cookies and sharing them. This is another one-step subtraction problem. We have 72 cookies and we give away 24, so 72 minus 24 equals however many are left. And the key is that it says use any strategy to solve. That's what it said up in the directions there. So we've got a whole bunch of strategies we can use at this point in Unit 6. And here's a list of the strategies they learned so far in this unit all about subtraction. So I believe it was first they learned base 10 blocks, which they're familiar with from previous units, but just a reminder, those look like this. And when students need to subtract, they can cross off a 10 and trade it in to get 10 ones if they need to. They learned base 10 blocks with a place value chart next to it. I believe a lot of their teachers taught them this, which kind of leads to the standard algorithm. So they might have done, up here this is 23, so like 2 10s, 3 1s, and they're subtracting something else, and they kind of cross off, like so let's say they're subtracting 17, they can cross off 10s as they trade them in for 1s. They also learned to use a number line. So an open number line, meaning they can put their numbers anywhere they want. So let's say, again, we're starting with 23 and they're subtracting 17. They can make these hops however they want to. That was a previous lesson. They learned to make a part-part whole model, which was like this. 23, and then say we're subtracting 17. They had to know that 17 is part of it, and they're trying to find that other little piece. Question mark there. This part whole model was next to the number line sometimes. They decomposed numbers to make a 10, or they decomposed by place value. So this was probably the most complicated, especially to parents who haven't seen this before. So 23 minus 17, they might have decomposed, I didn't leave myself room here, sorry. So I'm going to write over here. They might have decomposed the 17 into 10 and 7, or they might have decomposed the 17 to make, so remember we had 23 minus 17 here. If the 17 is decomposed into 3 and 14, 23 minus 3 is 20, so that gets us a friendly number there. Sorry, that's a super quick overview, but you can see one of the previous videos if you want a refresher on that strategy. So that was decomposing numbers in two different ways. They also learned to adjust numbers to make friendlier numbers. So that was where, for example, maybe we would subtract 3 from here, from the 23, and then we have to subtract 3 from the 17 also to give us 20, and then 14. Again, apologies that this is so tiny. This is just a little overview, so I didn't want to take up too much room here. So 23 minus 17 is equivalent to 20 minus 14. You could also adjust numbers by adding to both numbers. So actually, this one would work perfectly. I could add 3 to both here, and I would have 26 minus 20. Also gives me 6. Either way should give me the same answer. At this point in your child's career, you might be asking why they haven't learned the standard algorithm for subtraction yet, meaning the way we learned it with borrowing, which is now known as regrouping. So this is all a way to, all of these strategies build up their number sense and build up their mental flexibility and understanding of numbers in order to help them fully understand the standard algorithm when they get there. They will eventually get there, but we don't want to push it too soon because we want them to understand really a lot about composing and decomposing numbers first. So now back to this problem that we can solve any way we want. We've got all those strategies we can use. And the key here is that the strategy that your child should use is the one that makes the most sense for them given this problem. So if they're really struggling, you might want to go back to the base 10 blocks. If you have physical base 10 blocks, that's even better. But that's kind of the most concrete way to do this. Otherwise, really any strategy that works for them is game at this point. For this particular one, I don't even know. So I know that I've got more ones here in the 24 than I do in the 72. So I would probably actually, like if I were doing this in my head, I would probably break that 24 down into 20 and 4. And then I would do 72 minus 20 equals 52. And then I still have 4 left to subtract. So 52 minus 4 is 48. But again, any strategy that makes sense to your students is totally game here. Here's a homework problem from lesson 10. How can you represent and solve the word problem? Use any strategy to solve. Erin sells 44 books. She sells 26 mystery books, 8 fantasy books, and some comic books. How many comic books does she sell? Again, it says use any strategy to solve. So I didn't even make up another problem here because look back at those strategies on slide 3, I believe it was. And again, any of those are game here. The difference with this problem and the ones in 6-8 is just that we have 2 parts. It's a 2-step subtraction problem. So Erin sells 44 books. She sells 26 mystery books, 8 fantasy books, and then some more comic books. So we're starting with the 44 and subtracting 2 different parts to get to our final answer of however many comic books that is. Thank you as always for watching. If you like this, please subscribe to my channel and leave a comment with any other content you'd like explained. And if you're interested in reading my thoughts on math education, check out my Substack at Make Math Make Sense. See you back here for Grade 2, Unit 7.